It's time for Grizzbeat, a full court press of highlights, insights, news, and scoops covering the Grizzlies and the NBA. Catch up each week on the latest Grizz buzz with regional and national insiders locked in on our squad. Running point from Grind City Media Studios, our host, Jarvis Greer.
Hey everybody, right back here at 191 Beale Street. It's Grizzbeat. Let me get them straight here. I'm ready. I got my Steven Adams shirt on. Hopefully Jock Londale will be all right like that. We'll talk about that a little bit later in our show today, but we got a tremendous panel, as always, right here on Grizzbeat. And we'll start with Matt Infield, my former colleague at WMC, the weekend sports anchor. And you ready for the golf tournament and everything else, right?
Oh, I don't want to think about the golf tournament right now. Let's talk about some summer league, and when all this rolls around, we'll worry about the golf tournament. That's the last thing on my mind at the moment.
Yeah, there you go. FedEx the FedEx Cup's here in Memphis coming up in next month. But also, we've got the guru of Grind City Media himself right here in studio, as always. It's the great Michael Wallace, as my grandson likes to call him. Join the movement, right? What's the Grizz movement? You want to become a mentor,
That's
right?
That's it. It's all we need more mentors, man, on both ends of the equation. Grizzlies.org, GrizzliesFoundation.org. Check out the mentor movement.
All right, and we are all over as far as Grizzbeat is concerned. We're going to go to Salt Lake City, where Grind City Media's Jessica Benson has been holding up shop for the last few days. Jessica, how is it out there? Are you tired yet from all the Summer League action you've seen?
Hey, Jarvis. You can never be tired of too much Summer League action, right? But we had the 3 games here. Team flew to Las Vegas last night. It's been a hot couple of days in Salt Lake City. Combine that with the altitude. Still getting adjusted.
Yeah, right. I know, but it's really beautiful out there, and you get a chance for a break from the heat here in Memphis. It has cooled off here a little bit, though, lately. Let's talk about Summer League. We'll start out. Matt Infield, you got some impressions that you thought from the first 3 games that we saw now. All the stars, the studs that will probably be with the big club did not play in Game 3 last night, but Jamal Meshack did get some plenty of run and shot the ball pretty well in that game.
Yeah, and didn't commit 10 fouls last night like he did on Monday night, which was an improvement. But a couple things that stood out to me, especially from the Utah game, which is one you could take more from because you have more of the stars, the Summer League stars playing. The pace, the amount of ball screens, the guys that you want to see play well, namely Gigi Jackson and Cam Spencer, have played well. Unfortunately, we don't see Cedric Howard, and Javon Small now has a groin strain, but I think you're getting a little preview of what we could expect out of a Tuamas Islo offense, and on defensive end with the amount of pressure they're applying as well. So it's been fun.
Yeah. And Jessica, you've been right there for all the action when it comes to that. You know, if you had to go back through your top 3 takeaways from Summer League, what did you see there that most impressed you? I guess not top 3. What most impressed you? And then what are you most intrigued by as this team now transitions to Las Vegas?
Well, I think what impressed me the most was the follow-through of the players that you hope look to be in that category of could be too good to be playing Summer League. Did indeed look too good to be playing Summer League, from Jalen Wells to Gigi Jackson. I'll throw Cam Spencer in there too. And each of them had a signature moment. It was Jalen Wells in the first game. It was him immediately coming back from his injury. This is the first time we've seen him since he went down with that horrific injury back in April. Luckily, it ended up only being his wrist, but still had to come back from the wrist injury, gets back out there. You see the defensive intensity from Jalen Wells almost immediately from the jump, and you're like, I recognize that well. And then you have the opportunities from Gigi Jackson, who had a very good game 1, but absolutely flourished in game 2. Almost had the signature moment of Salt Lake City Summer League if that final buzzer 3 would have counted and sent that game into overtime. But you saw him really focusing on getting downhill. You saw him put a lot of effort into the defensive side of the ball, which is somewhere where he wants to improve upon. But I thought offensively, just the way he was getting to the basket, the clear focus of Gigi Jackson and talking with him and knowing that is what both Zach Kleiman and Tuamas Islo and this entire coaching staff has told him is truly his calling card. And he himself said, continue to get downhill, but then also when you're looking at where he's looking to get better throughout the rest of Summer League, kicking it out, finding open players. He's also been able to take advantage of taking some nice open threes. His shot looks great. And then speaking of wide open threes, Cam Spencer having those 7 threes in game 2 reminded everybody just what the Grizzlies got in a shooter in Cam Spencer. So from all 3 of those players, having the opportunity to see them work within Tuamas Islo's system and getting that first glimpse of what the offense could look like, a lot of screens, a lot of off-ball, on-ball screens, constant motion. That's, I think, the primary takeaway from Salt Lake. Now we'll see how that carries over into Las Vegas.
Yeah, Jessica, you talk about Cam Spencer as we were looking at his highlights here. He shot the ball extremely well, 7 for 10 in that second game, had 14 points in the first game. And is he a player that you think the Grizzlies could put on that main roster at times? So he is on the main roster, but as far as getting some actual rotation minutes, because that shot is pure, and can they hide him enough defensively to get him on the court?
Yeah, I think it goes to the versatility of an entirety of a roster, right? And if we just go off of watching the Thunder team that won a championship, it's more important than ever to have what seems like infinite options, to be able to go deep into a bench and trust a guy to throw into high pressure scenarios and they can deliver. And I think Cam Spencer is one of those kind of players. The way that he's able to get his shot off with just the tiniest amount of space continues to be really impressive. You saw him here trying to get a little more comfortable playing on the ball. I'm not saying that the Grizzlies in a best case scenario are playing Cam Spencer point guard minutes next year, but you can never have too many ball handlers. You can never have too many 3-point shooters. And then what Cam gives you too is just that energy, right? Like you need those energy guys who can kind of become agents of chaos that you could throw into a game and mix things up. And he's not afraid of those moments. I think all of those contributions, all of those factors led the Grizzlies to giving Cam Spencer a spot on the full-time roster, advancing him out of his two-way position from last year. And he's one of those players that, this is why Summer League is so important for the guys that are continuing in that developmental phase. It gives the Grizzlies an opportunity to experiment and see where perhaps maybe there are parts of his game that can still be looked to improve upon, where he would be able to earn some real-time minutes with the Grizzlies one day.
Jess, I apologize. To my knowledge, you don't have a psychology degree, but I'm going to ask you to play therapist real quick. G.G. Jackson gave this really great quote at the end of last season about how it was a struggle for him mentally, and he came back from the injury, and he thought he was going to do all these great things, and he struggled to find a role and playing time and all that. I know you talked with him the other night. We talked about the things he's done really well the last couple of games. What kind of headspace do you sense he's in from what you've gathered?
I'm not a therapist, but I go to therapy, and so I can reverse therapy on the situation. No, Gigi was the first person I saw when I got into Salt Lake City on Saturday. I pressed the button in the elevator, and the doors open, and there was Gigi. And I was like, "Oh, are you excited for tonight's game?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm just ready to ball." And I really thought that there was that energy for Gigi just to almost start over in a sense, which is silly, but it's something you can't do because I think a lot of people forget he's so young. And I know we've been saying it all week at this point, so you can't forget, but he's 20 years old. And that is a youth that comes in his play style, but it's also a youth of just being a human being. Like we were all 20 years old at one point and having to go through adversity and how you face that adversity. I'm sure we've all had moments that we aren't the most proud of. And I think G.G. Jackson, if he could go back in time and redo how he handled parts of last season, he would absolutely do that. But instead, he's learned from those experiences and he really wants to come in this year with a new mentality of control what you can control and listen to what the coaching staff is expecting out of you. You don't deserve anything in this league. I think that's something that a lot of vets will tell you. And it's a growing pain moment that happens for a lot of professional athletes, that happens for a lot of people. But that doesn't mean that you're not valuable. That doesn't mean they don't value you. And so I think G.G. Jackson is back in that position of really being a sponge and trying to figure out just exactly how he can best be a contributor for this team. It's not like they're going to be drawing up plays for G.G. Jackson next season, right? Like that's not his spot within this rotation, but what he can do, he has this freak athleticism still, and just his size and his ability to move up and down the court to get to the basket. It really does feel as if in terms of a ceiling of a guy on this team, Gigi continues to be in that space where he could really shoot up there. It just is a matter of taking the time and staying in the right mental space. But bottom line is he's playing with joy and he's sitting with joy and he's experiencing the game with joy. Like even when he's out last night, he's engaged in the game the whole time. And I think those are all good things to see from Gigi.
Jessica, it's always a joy to hear from you. You can see and hear Jessica Benson every Monday through Friday right here on Grind City Media with C.J. Hurt. C.J. Hurt is producing our show right behind the glass there. He's on the ones and twos, spinning all the dials and everything, so it's great to see that. Now, just a couple of minutes ago, we had some big news drop in the NBA. The NBA Emirates Cup draw is out, and we can see where the Grizzlies and the rest of the league will be playing in the NBA's new midseason tournament. It's the third year now? Third year of this tournament? Yeah, so let's take a look at the big graphic and we'll see like these are all the groups, group A, B, C, Groups A, B, and C in the West and the East. Memphis is in Group B, but you can take a look there and see where all the teams are playing and who they will be matched up against in group play. And let's focus right now on the West Group B, because that's where the Grizzlies will be. And in West Group B, you see there's the Lakers, the Clippers, the Grizz, the Dallas Mavericks, and the New Orleans Pelicans. The tournament tips off October 31st. There'll be games at the home arenas, and the Final Four will meet up in Las Vegas for the championship. After all, we do all of our round robins in our group play. So what's the first thing that jumps out to you about Group B? West Group B, Matt Infield from Action News 5.
I mean, the Grizzlies have had a horrible time in the NBA Cup their first 2 years in this, but I look at that group and there's no obvious juggernaut. Like, to me, there's not a top 4 team in the West, in my opinion, in that group. Dallas, we'll see what happens with them, especially without Kyrie Irving to start the year. I know Joe Dumars apparently thinks the Pelicans are going to be competitive next year. I have some questions about that. The Lakers and the Clippers, I think, are going to be good again. But again, I don't view them as top 4 teams in the West. And we'll talk about the expectations for the Grizzlies. I kind of feel like there's a chance they're being slept on a little bit. So I don't look at that and say there's no chance that they get out of that group, because I think that if they match up correctly and things fall their way, maybe they do advance past the knockout stage for the first time in the NBA Cup.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, I think it's one of those situations where, you look at the competition there, right? Like, all of these teams are in sort of a transitionary period. When you look at, what the Clippers are doing, they certainly fortified their front line, right? When they brought in, Collins and then, Lopez,
yep.
Right? New Orleans, we don't know what they're doing. They're sort of in a rebuilding mode from that standpoint. But everyone else that the Grizzlies is lined up with are going to be jockeying, trying to figure out what's going on. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's another exciting group. I like what the NBA is doing with the Emirates NBA Cup, and it makes the middle of the season as intriguing as anything else when it comes to that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of jockeying going on in those games.
Yeah, the NBA is tinkering around with it. Had the Grizzlies been fully healthy at the start of the season, I would say that Memphis might have a chance to actually not just win a game, but win that group. But, we'll see who's healthy and who's not as we go along, and as well as Memphis and all the other teams, because somebody's going to be out for somebody else. Let's go now to our new feature here on Grizzbeat. We brought it in about a month ago. It's about a month old, I guess. It's the NBA 24-second shot clock validation, where we have 24 seconds each to validate our point on a certain topic. And this week's topic for this show, what is it that we want to see from the Grizzlies, from the Grizzlies in the Vegas Summer League, which starts on Friday when the Grizzlies tip off against Boston at 3 o'clock. There's 5 games guaranteed in Vegas. We're going to start with Matt Infield. We'll put 24 seconds on the clock. What is it that you most want to see out of the Grizzlies in Vegas play? Go.
It's a tough question to answer for Summer League. What do you need to see? I would say that I like that the pace that they've been playing with, like I mentioned, on both sides of the floor, the defensive pressure, picking up full court. And we know Thomas Cecil always talked about three-point line to three-point line in 3 seconds. How do you maintain that day over day? Because I think that's something that's under-discussed last year is they were playing at a frenetic pace, and it might have worn them out in the latter half of the season. So can they keep that up, even if it's for a couple days?
Whoa, write it out. Pretty good there. Matt Infield knocked that one out of the park. We go now to the guru of Grind City Media himself, the great Michael Wallace. You have 24 seconds. What do you think that you need to see from the Grizzlies in Vegas? 24 seconds, go.
Well, it starts with the pick and pop game. I need to see more consistency at point guard. I still think the Grizzlies are still searching for a consistent playmaker. We didn't see a lot from Zion Pullen in Salt Lake City. Cam Spencer didn't really do much as a playmaker. That point guard position has to be solidified. And then we need to see something on the big man. Like, it's one of those situations where the Grizzlies are going to need a big to step up. Salt Lake City didn't step up. Vegas needs to.
All right, looking for the big man is Michael Wallace. Now, my turn. What do I need to see out of the 24-second clock? Michael Wallace stole some of my thunder, but I'll go with it. 24 seconds on the clock. Let's go. Point guard play, yes. Javon Small's been out the last couple of games with that groin injury. Of course, he was the number 48 pick in the second round for the Grizzlies. I think he looks like he might have the moxie to be able to run that position at 6'1", 40.5-inch vertical leap. He's got some strength. I should think that we will see him much more in Vegas. They just kept him out to make sure everything's okay for there. Boom. There it is. All right. I'll make sure I got the shot off in time. All right. That'll do it for the first segment right here on Grizzbeat. When we come back in the second segment, we'll go around the NBA a little bit and have another 24 shot clock validation for you. You'll want to see it when we come back on Grizzbeat.
boys, man.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Murray State is going to the College World Series. It's easy for me to pick a team because 1, I love an underdog. 2, I hate UCLA, and I see that opening round matchup. And 3, we are connected to the school's most famous alumni, John Morant of Murray State.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
These are the Jordan 1, the crystals. These are the shoe that retails for $1,000. Oh, extra crystals. So if your crystals fall off, if your crystals fall off, actually these are the black crystals because they have. So the shoe has black crystals on there as well too. So you get an extra package of black crystals.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Hey, Grizz fam, the Grind City Media mobile app is your home for all 2025 Summer League action presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners. Tune in Saturday, July 12th, 9:30 p.m. to watch your Grizzlies take on the Portland Trailblazers. Fans will want to tune in early, 9:15 p.m. Mark it down for the pregame show presented by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers, featuring Grind City Media and Grizzlies broadcast crew personalities. Download the Grind City Media mobile app now to watch all the action coming up on Saturday.
And then we also got a Friday game as well, too. And if we could throw that graphic back up, Friday's game kicks off or tips off all of the Summer League action in Las Vegas against the Boston Celtics. Pregame show 2:45. Tip-off is at 3 p.m. So we got that game Friday, back-to-back on Saturday to tip off what's going to happen in not Salt Lake City. They just came from Salt Lake City. But in Las Vegas with all the Grizzlies. Summer League action presented by Pinnacle. Welcome back into Grizzbeat, and this is the time now where you look at sort of, we kind of regroup and look at where the Grizzlies have gotten so far in this offseason when you talk about some of the transactions and some of the moves that they've made. And if you go back to late last month, the NBA draft, the Grizzlies obviously did well there, picking up Cedric Coward with the number 11 overall pick, acquiring him, and then making some moves in the second round, too, where they got Javon Small out of West Virginia, and then obviously Jemiah Mashak out of Tennessee with the 59th overall pick. We haven't seen Cedric Coward yet. I have been aware that he's working out here in Memphis as he continues to rehab from that shoulder surgery from earlier this past winter. He is progressing towards the end of that. Zach Kleiman, Grizzlies president of basketball operations, confirmed that he is nearing the end of the recovery and the rehab process. So he'll be back to a return to play program relatively soon, and he should be ready for October start of training camp. Now, what else have the Grizzlies done this offseason? Just to catch you up right there, they've extended Tripp, Jaren Jackson Jr., 5 years, $240 million. The Grizzlies had to do it. Jaren Jackson Jr. wanted to do it, so they got it done. Re-signed Santi Aldama, who got a pretty nice payday, 3 years, $52.5 million. And next week, he'll be celebrating his wedding over in Spain, and several of the Grizzlies teammates will be going over there to spend some time with him as well, too, and his new bride as well. The Grizzlies also signed Ty Jerome, one of the steals in free agency, 3 years, almost $28 million right there. Re-signed Cam Spencer to a 2-year, $4.5 million deal. It was kind of surprising that they locked up Cam. They still need to make some moves up front to fortify that, and they did that by signing Jock Landale per Shams, but that deal is going to be consummated pretty soon once the things move to Las Vegas. You get a backup big there that can step in for some of the injuries that have happened up front. Jaren Jackson Jr. is recovering from his toe surgery, and Zach Edey from his ankle surgery. Jarvis, when we start with that, of all the offseason moves that the Grizzlies have made, which one has impressed you most so far?
Well, of course they had to lock up Jaren Tripp. They had to get him in the fold. And one thing the Grizzlies have been very good at is they sign their free agents. When they got guys that are coming up for money, they put the money on the table and the guys sign, which, all these people say, oh, nobody wants to come to the guys that are here like it here and they want to play here and they get rewarded handsomely for that. Plus, this is the NBA Memphis branch. That's what Shane Battier once said when he was asked, what about playing in Memphis? He said, well, I look at it like this. Coming out of Duke, he was an All-American, Player of the Year. He said, well, I just say I play for the NBA Memphis branch. You're in the association. That's all that matters. But the biggest move for me was the Ty Jerome move that you said. You lose Luke Kennard in free agency. That was pretty much a foregone conclusion after the season. You need shooting on this team. They go out and get somebody that not only is a shooter, but also has that quote-unquote dog mentality that Zach Kleiman, the general manager, had mentioned that he wanted to have on this team. Ty Jerome is the kind of guy that while lateral quickness may not be his forte, but somehow he figures out a way to get steals. I think, 2.3 steals a game or something like that. And he played on a team that, for lack of injuries, could have had a chance to really win the NBA title in the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they got a guy that can not only shoot it, they got a guy that can do some other things. And he was a point guard on that Virginia team that won the national championship. So if you have to put the ball in his hands, you can do it with some relative assurance that he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and Ty Jerome also indicated in an Instagram post that Cleveland didn't really push to get him back, so he almost had to go find a new home, and we're definitely glad to take him in. Matt, when you look at all the offseason transactions so far the Grizzlies have made, what has stood out to you?
I think the Ty Jerome deal is a huge bargain, and kind of like he alluded to, his stock dropped a lot off of a 5-game series against the Pacers where he didn't play well, but also he was thrust into a larger role than he had been all season because Darius Garland was banged up. Donovan Mitchell was banged up. They had a ton of injuries, so I think it's a little unfair to look at a 5-game sample and say that's who that player was.
Right.
Listen, I think we've talked about it a lot. If Cedric Howard hits, Cedric Howard might have franchise-changing upside, and that Zach Kleiman taking what looks like a roll of the dice for a guy that only played 6 games last season at Washington State, but I asked him about it in his post-draft press conference, and he said the risk to him is not taking a guy that has, as he put it, a higher-end outcome. And if he hits with the shooting and the defense and some of the back-to-the-basket stuff that he does in the post, the trajectory of this franchise, especially while he's not making a lot of money in the next couple of years, could change pretty quickly. So I'm really intrigued to finally see him out on the court, I imagine, preseason.
And Cedric Howard did on Monday sign his rookie scale contract, 4 years, pretty much locked in with the Grizzlies for the next 4 years there. He's going to be a guy with a tremendous upside. We hope he hits, right? Now, in terms of projections, when the league is already sending out, different publications and websites are sending out their projections for the Grizzlies and how NBA teams are going to do this year. I know you can't read that type there, but somewhere probably down at around the 16th or 17th team, you see the Memphis Grizzlies projected to win 40.5 games this season. And as we go back into our next 24-second shot clock validation, what I want to know from you guys is that 40.5 win total, is that dead right or dead wrong? Because that basically means the Grizzlies are going to have a losing record and probably end back up in the lottery. We'll start with Jarvis. You go first, 24 seconds on the clock. Jarvis Greer, the Grizzlies' projection of 40.5 wins next season is dead right or dead wrong?
I'm going to say start the clock.
It started.
Dead wrong. Go. Dead wrong. The Grizzlies have outperformed the projections. Every time there's been a projection out there, they've actually outperformed it by 4 or 5 games. I think last year was the shortest one. I think the most projection had them at 46. They won 48 and were just a game out of third place at the end of the year. The West was so tight and jumbled up. They had a couple of injuries at the end of the year, so I think good. Boom.
You didn't get the buzzer, but the clock hit 0 4 seconds into your you have 4 more seconds of content there. All right, Matt,
that.
Let's go. We're going to get the buzzer, or we're going to have to make the buzzer on me. Happen right now. 24 seconds.
Where's the clock? We got it. I'm looking for it. There we go. Okay. I'm saying hammer that over. Listen, I know that Desmond Bane losing him is a headline-worthy move. like I said before, I think there's a clear top 4 in the West. It's OKC, it's Houston, it's Denver, it's Minnesota. The rest of these teams in the West, I'm not super impressed by. I think the Grizzlies, look, they finished 8th in the West last year. I think it's definitely within the realm of possibility they finish higher than that this year. And if they do that, I think they're definitely finishing with more wins than that.
Great. You got it in at the buzzer, too, and your toe was behind the line. So you hit a 3. You went GG on that one, all right?
I was my GG, man.
There you go.
I said, look, that was supposed to be overtime.
All right, 40.5 wins. I'm on the clock right now. Give me 24 seconds, and I'll tell you right now.
Go.
The 40.5 wins projection is dead right. I can't see the Grizzlies right now, as they are currently constituted, jumping over any more than maybe 5 teams in the West. You can eliminate right away some of the teams at the bottom, Utah, New Orleans, Portland, those type of teams, right? But everybody else that's above the Grizzlies when the season ended or still above the Grizzlies right now, it's going to be tough. I got them pegged at 9, and we'll see if that's 40 wins or less. So There you go. I think that's fair. We'll see where it goes from here. And we got one more segment where we'll take you from there. When Grizzbeat comes back, we'll show you some of the things that John Roser, our friend at Grind City Media here, did a great video giving you one fact on every single player on the Grizzlies Summer League roster. It's going to be a lot of fun when we come back to Grizzbeat.
Are you ready?
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour. Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Have you talked to Norvell since the game?
Yeah, but we're close friends, so it's not one of those. Like, I think it's a little bit.
How long before you said, ha, 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 ha?
Hey, you sent him a text and said, you want the box score? You sent him the box score. You want to see the picture of me in the locker room afterwards?
How close are you? Because it would have taken me literally 30 seconds.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There are futures for Aaron Judge possibly hitting 400. Hitting 400 at the All-Star break, plus 600.
Oh, wow.
To have a 400 batting average in the regular season, plus 3,800. To win the Triple Crown is only plus 145.
I don't think he's going to hit 400 for the season.
I don't either. I that would be
ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Summer is the season of giving for the Grizzlies and Ashley Furniture. Christmas in July returns with 12 days for giveaways from July 16th through the 29th, leading up to the grand prize of 2 courtside Grizzlies seats, $500 in Ashley cash, and a $250 Grizzlies fan shop gift card. Sign up now for email and text notifications at grizzlies.com/Grizzmas so you can enter to win daily. Christmas in July, you want to jump on that. Now let's quickly take a look at the Grizzlies schedule coming up for Summer League in Las Vegas, the big NBA Summer League. All 30 teams will be in action. First game Friday, July 11th, 3 o'clock. That's the Grizzlies and the Celtics. Then on Saturday, the next day, back-to-back, you got a Grizz Portland showdown at 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, July 15th, it's the Grizzlies versus the Golden State Warriors. And then the Atlanta Hawks and the Grizzlies wrap up the regular portion of Summer League Thursday, July 17th at 5 o'clock. Now, there will be a 5th game. Every team is guaranteed 1 extra game, and we'll see how that works out. But we hope the Grizzlies will be in the championship round. All right, now let's talk about what John Roser of Grind City Media and the Chris Vernon Show, my former CBHS classmate there came up with a big thing. He rated all the Grizzlies with a little bit of information about every one. It's a really good in-depth look. Take a look at John Roser's piece right now.
It's Grizzlies Summer League time, and here's one thing you need to know about every player on the Grizzlies Summer League roster. G.G. Jackson is entering his 3rd season in the NBA and is still the youngest player on the Grizzlies Summer League team by 463 days, just a little over 15 months. Ace Baldwin played his college basketball at Penn State. He is also named after Wood Harris's character in the 2002 film Paid in Full, which also starred Mekhi Phifer and Cameron. Ante Brzovic went from Croatia to southeastern Oklahoma State, where Dennis Rodman also played, before winding up at Charleston. For a small stretch in his senior season, he led the nation in scoring with 30.5 points per game. Tyler Burton was a member of the Memphis Hustle last season, but only for 8 games. But he did shoot 44% from 3 in those 8 games. Cedric Howard is the Grizzlies' first-round pick, and according to reports, unlikely to play in Summer League. But he did join Jarris Walker, Bilal Coulibaly, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Rui Hachimura, PJ Washington, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Williams as wings drafted in the first round with a 7'2" or greater wingspan in the last 10 years. Aaron Estrada went to 4 colleges in 5 years: St. Peter's, Oregon, Hofstra, and Alabama. He averaged 9 points per game last season for the Motor City Cruise. Nate Hinton played 31 games for the Memphis Hustle last season. He had a steal in at least 28 of those games. Jeremy Jones is 29 years old. The #1 song in the country when he was born, The Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony. The #1 movie, The Rock, starring Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. Flanders Fleming played 3 years at Charleston Southern, 1 year at Florida, and averaged 13 points per game last season in German. Will Magna's from Australia. He has played in 1 career NBA game for the Pelicans against the Lakers. He was 0 for 1 from 3. He had 1 foul and 1 turnover. Lawson Lovering, one of 3 high major 7-footers with a 20-plus assist percentage this season. Jemai Meshack. The Knoxville News-Sentinel said Meshack wanted to master his opponent's strengths and weaknesses. He also majored and graduated with a degree in psychology. Bo Montgomery, hey, a local kid. He's a Memphian. He went to Lausanne and college, Holy Cross, and UNC Wilmington. Shot 36% from 3. Zion Pullins on a 2-way contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. Played 11 games for the Hustle last year, 19 points, had 32 points, 8 rebounds on 14 of 17 against Raptors 905. Javon Small, Grizzlies' 2nd-round pick, finished 2nd in the Big 12 in scoring in his senior season. You know who else did that? Former Grizzlies shooting guard Desmond Bane. Cam Spencer won a national championship at UConn this past year, 51 points in a G League game for the Hustle, 12 of 15 from 3. Jalen Wells, who became the first 2nd-rounder undrafted player to make first-team All-Rookie since Jayshawn Tate did it in 2020-21. Armando Bacot. Bacot was actually at IMG Academy at the same time as Grizzlies center Zach Edey. Bacot played 50 games for the Hustle last season, had 21 double-doubles, including this 34-point, 25-rebound performance at Santa Cruz. And that's your 2025 Memphis Grizzlies Summer League roster. Reminder, you can watch every Grizzlies Summer League game live by just downloading the Grind City Media app.
And you want to make sure you do that. Of course, Grizzlies Summer League starting up Friday in Las Vegas. We want to thank our panel here, Matt Enfield from Action News 5 for joining us as always, and the guru of Grind City Media himself, the great Michael Wallace, as my grandson wants to call him. Join the movement, everybody. Become a mentor. My Steven Adams shirt on. Let's hope Jock Londale gets a shirt of his own as we go forward here. That's it for this edition of Grizzbeat. We'll see you down the road. Everybody, stay tuned.
That's game. Thanks for running with us for another episode of Grizzbeat. Join us each Wednesday at Grind City Media for all the latest insight and analysis on the Grizzlies.